again, everyone. Hope you are doing okay. Well, not really, but nonetheless, it's better if everyone's doing okay. For all of us, perhaps. Whatever. In any case, one thing that's hard when recording some of these is that I have to remember to demask any mask that is up or was up for a variety of reasons. And so it's kind of weird. I had to kind of set myself mentally again. It takes me like 20 minutes or so to kind of set myself into a kind of a neutral stance, like a neutral position mentally, so that I can be the sincerest version of myself that I can produce for this. Anyway, okay, so today, and usually when I come up with an idea for what I want to talk about when I do record, it's just kind of random. It's whatever pops into my head and it seems interesting to do. Today I kind of wanted to do two things. I wanted to record myself watching some of these videos of people. Well, let me make sure my setup is fine. Yeah, it's good. Of examples that you guys have probably seen on the internet because they're like in the top search results on YouTube if you search for anything Schizoid related. And I wanted to just look at some of these examples and give you my firsthand kind of reaction to what these examples, how I perceive them, because honestly, they're not very good for a variety of reasons, in my opinion. Maybe you disagree. If you do, tell me. And then I wanted to tell you a little bit about a strange hobby that I have that I don't really talk about with anyone because it's kind of just like a thing that I do, and I don't really know quite why I do it. It's just something I've spent time doing in many instances, and it's not really something I keep track of or record of. It's just something I do, and I'll talk about that right after. Also, thanks for any likes, subs, dislikes, comments, anything, any kind of interaction you're having with the channel. I appreciate it. If you want to interact with me more, either about the subjects on the channel or about anything else, just follow me on Twitter, follow me on minds.com, follow me on, well, Parler's gone now, I think, still gone. Just contact me on Facebook too. You can message me on Facebook, I think. But point is, I like the interaction. I like when people send me messages or comments, because then, I can interact with people, and then I kind of know better what people like to see and what they don't, what they are relating to and what they're not relating to. And, I mean, it probably won't really change anything I upload or my content very much, but because I'm a little indifferent, I'm just kind of doing my thing. But nonetheless, I'd like some of those responses. I know it's really, really difficult for me to ask schizoids and avoidance and socially averted PD people to interact, but feel safe interacting with me. I don't care if you're cringe or if you say something weird or whatever. I just won't. I'll just react how I react, which is with not much passion. But if you're annoying, then obviously I just don't talk to you. But I'm very polite, and I'll listen to what somebody has to say. I might not necessarily give you big old long responses or anything for obvious reasons. But if you catch my attention with a certain topic of interest, I'll gladly go back and forth. If you just want to say something quick to me, or maybe an idea for what I should be doing as far as channel ideas, cool, do it. I'm fine with it. It's good. Any case, let me start this garbage up, and I'm going to start with this first one. Actually, I feel like I should start with the oldest one. Yeah, I'm going to start with this older one. I don't know what this recording was originally from, but these are, I said, examples. I think most of these people are actors. From what I saw in the comments, they're not people with the actual condition. I think they are actors, because some of these are pretty bad, in my opinion. All right, let me start with this one then. Here we go.
So has it always been just you and your mother? No? Do you have brothers and sisters, or?
Yeah.
Father? Did you grow up with a father?
Yeah. I grew up with my father.
But
Okay, so right here, well, there's one thing that I think they did get right, which was the brief answers, the yes, no's, because a lot of schizoids, including myself, when I'm not really in the mood to talk, especially, I will give brief, short answers that don't elaborate on anything specific. If it's about a subject that I'm actually interested in and I want to talk about, then I'll elaborate. But if you're asking me personal questions about my life, I'm usually pretty like straight up, dry kind of answers, because I don't really feel like digging into it and talking about it, and then just the chit chat and the back and forth. So that part they got right. I feel they did a pretty good job there. The part that I'm just like, was that weird delay when they asked her about her father. We don't. I mean, I don't know if that's supposed to be like a cognitive thing where like we just kind of shut down for a moment, like to answer a very simple question. I don't find myself doing that. I don't know about you guys. Um, if someone's nervous or something like that during the conversation, I could see somebody acting that way because they're worried or paranoid about whatever answers they're going to give, so they really think about it. But generally, I find myself just answering stuff quickly and efficiently. But I don't know. Let me continue.
he doesn't live there now.
No.
Like the people you work with?
Yeah. I like people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that was a really convincing yeah, huh? I can see myself doing something like that, but not probably anymore. I probably would have said something like, no, not really, or yeah, like two of them, or one of them, and I would probably say, yeah, probably just like one or two, and that's it. And it was just it was a funny the way she had that strange delay and this unenthusiastic, yes, I like them.
Any of them your friends?
Yeah.
Again, it's true. I mean, you think about it sometimes and you go, based on, like in my head, I've been asked questions like that, and I think you might go, like, based on the parameters of what would constitute as a friend, yes, yes, they are acquaintances and things like that. So it's pretty funny the way the delay there. I appreciate.
You do things after work, or?
Um, I go. I go home or I go shopping,
Uh-huh.
groceries.
Uh-huh. But you don't spend time with the people you work with outside of work.
No.
Would you like to?
No.
Uh-huh.
The kind of like so the answers she's giving are relatable for sure. Um, if I were to just completely unmask myself, yeah, I would just be like, no, not really, no, no. But the way she kind of just like looks off into the void and kind of just looks really almost like confused by her situation. I don't know that I could relate to that. Um, I'm pretty straightforward. Maybe some of you would too. It's kind of looking like this downcast, just kind of like drifting into the void, kind of look in your eyes. Unless I'm particularly distracted, it's not generally how my behavior is. That looks like it could be something else going on there. But definitely not just purely schizoid.
You ever go out on the weekend?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go shopping or the movies or I'll stay at home
Uh huh.
and watch TV or read or
Okay, so this thing that they do, that's the end of that, I think. Oh, hold on. There we go. One of the things that this person was doing that I was just like is where they would stop in the middle of an incomplete sentence and then just kind of let the conversation or the topic drift away. I don't ever find myself doing that. That's definitely not something that falls in line with my, I guess, experience with Schizoid PD. Usually I want the conversation to end, so I'll make it as brief as possible, or I'll just say whatever it is that they're looking for, and then just kind of like pretend that I'm busy with something else, or move on to a different topic or subject, or try to move it to something conversationally that I'm interested in, that isn't about me, or my life and stuff. I can definitely see that, but this whole like saying something and then just staring like no. If anything, that would probably bring attention to me or cause the person to ask me the questions I dread the most, which are, is everything okay? What's wrong? Why are you acting so strangely? Blah blah blah. I don't want to be asked those questions, so I definitely wouldn't do that. I would just be as brief and look busy. Usually what I'll do is I'll look busy or look occupied, so that I don't have to stay in the conversation too long about myself or anything like that. But if I am busy, I am busy. I have things to do that are more important than chit-chatting. But if it's a stranger, generally, like, just no. I just want to move on. So this drifting off stuff, I don't know about that. Okay, so this one makes me laugh because I can't tell whether, because I don't know if they give. I'm skipping the little intros and stuff because I'm not really criticizing any of that. It's just the depictions I'm interested in. But the intro doesn't specify whether the person that's sitting down is schizoid or the person that's walking up to the gentleman asking about the seat. So I'm guessing the person that walks up to them is supposed to be schizoid because they're the ones acting very strangely. In my opinion, the gentleman sitting in the chair is more likely to be schizoid than the woman that I think it's supposed to be representing, because she's the one with the seemingly abnormal behavior. So you guys tell me. You guys tell me which one it is, because the way that this guy reacts to this lady in this scenario is exactly more or less how I would react, which would be like, what? Why? Like, first of all, like, it's kind of confusion of why are you approaching me at all, and what do you mean? And the major difference is, unless I got a valid explanation, I wouldn't budge at all compared to this gentleman here. But I'll play it out.
You're in my seat. You're in my seat. I need you in my seat. You're in my seat. This is the seat I usually sit in.
Okay, so that would be me. I'd just be like, This is a restaurant. This people sit where they like to 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 eat. Do you have a ticket that specifies this particular seat? If you do not, please move on. And if they were saying something like, "This is my seat. This is my," that's not gonna cut it. I'm sorry. I'm not moving. Uh, okay, that's cool. Please leave. And then if they continue badgering me about the seat, I would just shut them out and wait for my meal or order. And they can just stand there if they'd like. But I find it funny. But the way he just reacts of like, this is what? The confusion? Yeah, I definitely relate to that. I know these are actors or whatever, but that's why I'm confused. Like, is it supposed to be the woman that's? Because I can't imagine myself approaching somebody, even if I had a usual seat that I liked, at a restaurant or anywhere else. I wouldn't approach anyone and be like, "You're sitting in my seat. I need my seat." Like, what? No. That's weird. I wouldn't do that. I would, because I don't want that interaction. I don't want to have to explain that that's my seat that I like and so on and so forth. The woman being like, it seems more of like maybe a spectrum disorder type situation. That's my guess, but not really schizoid. Anyway, let me continue. Yeah, see, I would, if I did budge for whatever reason, like, I probably would say, "Okay, lady, whatever." Like, I mean, but I wouldn't. I'd be like, "All right, lady, whatever. I'm sitting here." That's what I would have said. And then the lady sits, and look how uncomfortable she looks. She looks just super awkward and uncomfortable. And I'm not sure if that's, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but that's not schizoid in my opinion. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Talk to me, guys. Like, cause I hate saying, "Oh, something's not schizoid, something is." It's stupid. But some stuff is, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It could be some kind of comorbid situation, but the behavior isn't, from what I understand and what I've spoken to other schizoids, is not the type of behavior that I would associate with being schizoid. Especially since, like, it would, if it's supposed to be the woman, that would mean you would approach somebody and interact with them, a stranger, which is something I wouldn't do unless there's a specific goal in mind, in which, then it's worth expending the energy. But outside of that, no, I wouldn't give a shit. And I probably wouldn't have any kind of associated seat either, because now that I think about it, I don't really have too many spots. Well, actually, no. I think at home I have a seat that I like, and if one of the kids is in it or something, I'd be like, "Hey, out," I sit there, and they'd be like, "All right." But like out in public, I wouldn't want to interact with strangers, so I wouldn't go through the trouble of trying to get my seat. Whatever. Okay, this guy cracks me up. I like this guy. Another, again, this one's for sure actors, because it's some kind of symptom media thing. This guy like gives me a vibe like he's paranoid more than schizoid, but let's see.
I was just curious if you have friends,
Look at his eyes.
or maybe that you like to do things with.
Yeah, it's shifty, right? Like, why? He's got a jittery way about him. He's like moving his hands, his shoulders are moving. He's like, it's almost like they're interrogating him for like the possibility of a murder or something. He's reacting like they're interrogating him for some crime he might have been associated with or something. And then right before that, he acts as if he didn't understand what the question is, almost like he's buying himself time or something. But I mean, if someone talks to me, I know they're talking to me. I'm pretty aware of my surroundings. I don't think there's ever been a situation where someone directly speaks to me right to my face, unless I'm distracted by something. And then I just kind of either pretend I didn't hear them, or actually not hear them for whatever reason. I love that. That response is top notch. That is top tier. No one really. That is a completely unmasked response by someone that's never actually attempted to extend themselves maybe outside of their, you know, schizoid perpetuated realm of social interaction. Unlike myself, because like I actually have people I can say I care about. But it's just funny. The response is funny. I probably would have said something similar in my 20s, though I would have done it a lot less shifty looking than that. I think. Oh yeah, that's all they show. Yeah, that's all they show. So there isn't really a lot of good depictions out there that I've seen of. Sorry, it accidentally went to my desktop, so I kind of had to edit out something. But so now that we're done with that, I wanted to move on really quickly to the second topic of discussion, which is my weird hobby. I think it's pretty weird, but that's why I'm putting it out there to you guys, so I can kind of know if you guys think it's something you do, or if you have something similar hobby-wise that you do that isn't like something you talk about. Because I'll talk about all my hobbies. Like I'll talk about, I play D&D, I play video games, I read all kinds of literature and books, whatever. I have a million different interests, and I jump from one to the other or whatever. But I have one particular hobby that I don't know if you guys share it, so I'll tell you. So sometimes when I'll go through YouTube, I'll look for a certain subject. Sometimes it'll be random. I'll just type in like, I don't know, lawnmower or something, right? And I'll skip like a couple pages worth of, or a page or two worth of uploads. And then I'll find the ones that have like maybe like 50, 60K views or something like that, or like 20, 30K, 10K even. And then I'll click on them, and they'll be oftentimes like really old. Like they'll be either 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, like abandoned. And then I'll look into the channels, and then I'll see that the last upload that person did was like 2 or a year and a half ago. And it just kind of abruptly ended. The YouTube channel seemed to have abruptly just kind of come to a full stop. And for whatever reason, I find that fascinating. I find that really interesting. And so then I try to look up more information on the YouTuber themselves. And then I kind of just I kind of sleuth into figuring out why they might have stopped. I'll go into their Twitter. I'll go into different things, and I'll just to determine why it is they had stopped. The mystery of why it is they had immediately stopped, even though they had a decent following, why they stopped uploading anything. And sometimes it'll be some personal reason, sometimes it'll be due to money issues, sometimes it'll just be this or that. And the ones that I find most interesting are the ones that I cannot find a solution for. Like I can't figure out why does they stop. They just stopped. And they never announced to their viewership why. They never said anything. Sometimes I'll kind of sift through that last video they uploaded to see if maybe they make a statement on there. And it's really weird because I don't really care about the person all that much or anything. I just find it fascinating that they would just drop it, right? Like what I would give right now to, be able to develop this base of people that I can speak to and stuff. And I'm trying to, grow it. But to think that I would just drop it in the middle of it all, it makes me think. And I don't judge them for it. Like, I'm not saying, oh, they're terrible for doing that, whatever. I don't care. What it makes me believe is that there's a lot of YouTubers out there with maybe some kind of PTs or other issues of mental illness, or something terrible happened. They might have gotten into an accident, or maybe they had a psychotic break of some kind, or something, something terrible must have happened. Some of them, when I tracked it down to kind of figure out what happened, there'll be like a message because the person had died or something tragic had occurred. And I just find it really strange because there's so many YouTube channels out there full of essentially people that have died or disappeared for whatever reason. or that have gone missing. I found out one person went missing. Like, they just completely went missing. And so I find that interesting. It's a weird kind of morbid hobby. I know it's pretty morbid, but I find it interesting to figure out what happened. And especially when they're like videos that disappeared like 2-3 years ago, when they're really, really old and they have no viewership. You know why? I mean, probably because either they got bored of it, or they lost interest, or they weren't gaining any viewers, so they kind of just dropped it. That makes sense. But some of the others, especially when they're not talking about mental health stuff, or they never claim to have any mental health issues, that just disappear regardless of the topic, I find it interesting. I don't even care what the topic is. It can be, like I said, it can be lawnmowers, or it can be buckets, or it can be candles. I'll just type in something, and then I'll just look for a person that has just an abandoned channel, and then just kind of figure out what happened. Weird, right? Strange hobby. I don't know. It's just something that's always clicked in my head. Same thing like when I see an article just that will actually got, like, it'll say YouTuber found dead, or YouTuber suicide, or something like that. Like, I won't even know who that YouTuber is. I'll click on the article, I'll find out who it is, and I'll go to their channel, and then I'll check it out, and then I'll just be interested in what happened. Like, they just disappeared. And it's just something that piques my interest. So there you go. That's my weird hobby that nobody knows about. Not even my best friends know I do this weird kind of hobby, because it's not really something that I feel I need to talk about. It's just something I do casually all the time. When I'm on YouTube or just killing time on my phone, I'll just find out what the fuck happened. And I'm more interested in the narrative, the subject, than so much the person, because then I'll just move on to the next person and what occurred there. Some of them go to jail, it's intense. Or I'll see comments like at the bottom of that video that'll kind of explicitly say what's going on, or kind of hint at what dilemma is occurring that caused them to just abandon their channel. It also makes me think that a lot of tubers have a lot of mental health issues that they're not discussing with anyone. And many times I think they're not discussing it because, one, if you put out a video about that, it's probably going to get made fun of, or it's going to make people think that you're just trying to gain like sympathy points and things like that. So I bet you a lot of YouTubers avoid those kind of videos because of that reason. Or they're looking for money or something like that. But I would love to be able to have conversations with other YouTubers that have the, especially socially avoidant or socially averted issues, personal issues like this, or personality disorder issues, and to discuss them like freely. And I think Schizoid's actually a pretty good person to talk about your psychological issues with, especially if they're a willing participant, like myself, that actually wants to listen. I wouldn't approach any Schizoid and assume they have insight into your psychological profile. They're probably not interested enough to listen. But my point is somebody like myself that is would be, I think, a pretty good person to talk to, because I wouldn't be moralistic. I wouldn't really judge, or if you say anything that might get my channel banned, then I'm probably gonna have to stop it there. But my point is I would be just interested in what it is that makes you tick, and why you function the way you do, and what dilemmas you've encountered, so that maybe I can relate to some of those dilemmas, or maybe I can see some cross kind of reference it and then figure out new information like that. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for listening to my usual bullshit. I hope you found any of this interesting. Also, like, subscribe, dislike, comment, whether negative or positive, do your thing. But follow me on something, because what if this channel fucking disappears? That's going to be annoying. And then I have to do all this shit again. So follow me on something. That way, if something like that happens, I can say something. And if for some reason you're subscribed to me and it's not notifying you, I can also tell you. Okay, bye now.